Welcome into another weekly segment of The Ledger, our friendly wagering competition here on The Three Technique. Joined by Garrett Turney tonight. And Garrett, hate to tell you, man, but there is a new sheriff in town. There is a new smallest loser atop that beautiful standings board to our screen left here. And I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty good this week. I'm feeling pretty good. It feels good to be on top. It feels good to be the closest to breaking even. How are you feeling, man? How are you coping with losing your Catbird spot?
Look, this has been a massive shot to my confidence. I've spent lots of time thinking about this week, and I'm devastated that I have lost this title at the moment. But I have to say, at least the two of us are somewhat competitive near the top, as opposed to the relative ocean between the two of us and our good friend Mitch.
Hashtag fade Mitch. I tried to get that going on Twitter earlier this week because it's been rough for our boy. None of us have been sages at this, as you can see by the standings to our left here. But
I want to give us a little credit, though. We actually post our standings. There's a lot of these shows that'll just make their predictions and then never tell you how they worked out. Like, look at me, trust me. Here's your lock of the week, and then it breaks, and then they're like, don't worry about it. We're just going to go on to the next week. We actually post our standings. We're owning our stuff.
Yeah, we post our standings so you know not to trust us. You know this is not financial advice, and we are only placing these bets in nuggies. Once again, all of our lines are brought to you by mybookie.ag. Check them out for all of your wagering needs. So, Garrett, Mitch is not with us tonight, but he did pre-record a segment with his picks ready for you guys to fade, so let's throw it over to him.
Fellas, I don't know how to explain last week. We nearly got shut out, including in the parlay. Every single game in the parlay went the other way. We're 8-25. We can't pretend that it's gone well. We can't sugarcoat it. We can't make excuses. This week is the All Jinx special. So yeah, I'll let you guys react to this in real time. We're gonna take Ole Miss minus the 6 and a hook at Auburn. 30 nuggies there. My thought through all of this is let's just take teams that I think are better, who I think will win. And if it goes the other way, hey, listen, I'm not an Ole Miss fan. Wouldn't mind if they lost to Auburn. But if they win, they're going to win by more than a touchdown. So I'll ride with the Lane train on that one. Alabama and Tennessee, give me the over 47.5. That seems really low. I know Tennessee did not wow anybody last week with their offensive output. They needed a special teams touchdown to beat the pathetic Aggies. But 47.5 seems really, really low. I think that Tennessee's going to rally the troops a little bit. It's a big game, a rivalry spot, the third Saturday in October. I think it's going to bring something special out. Alabama's offense should be good enough. And I don't need a barn burn to get to the over here. So let's root for that. And then we're going to take James Madison minus 3.5 at Marshall. 30 nuggies there. They're the better team. Marshall just got boat raced by Georgia State at home. James Madison's in a weight class of their own, and I think they're going to come out on top here by more than a touchdown in this one. So give me the Dukes. And then we're going to take the 8-part Take Me Higher special. These are all money lines. No chance that this hits, but if it does, it's going to be special, and we're going to be back on top. Give me UNLV over Colorado State. Give me Toledo over Miami of Ohio. South Florida is going to beat UConn. Iowa is going to beat Minnesota. Can't wait to talk about that one on the podcast. Rutgers is going to keep it rolling. They're going to be bowl eligible after they beat Indiana. Air Force is going to beat Navy. I mentioned James Madison is going to beat Marshall, so I'm taking that money line. And then Sam Houston gets off the pine. They're going to beat Florida International. That is 10 nuggies to win 242. So basically, there's no way that I'm not in first place after this week. Yeah, we'll see. Have fun, guys.
All right, and like I said, you probably want to fade every single one of those picks. He's not here to defend himself, so we'll just keep burying him 6 feet under the negative 400 that he's already at. So, Garrett, I'll go ahead and run through my picks, and I had a lot of fun making these. When I perused the board this week, I found quite a few picks, and that can be really dangerous when you are wagering your hard-earned American currency. But with nuggies, we get to have a little bit more fun here, and I really believe in all these picks that I made. I don't know that I'm going out too far on any limbs, at least in my mind, what I think I know about college football through 7 or 8 weeks. So starting out with Kansas State, they're getting a touchdown and a half at home. They're giving a touchdown and a half at home, against Texas Tech. They're playing TCU. They're playing the TCU Horned Frogs. Let's get that straight. Probably be a little bit higher spread if they were playing Texas Tech. I'll get to the Red Raiders here in just a second.
I'd take 6.5 against Tech.
100%. Yeah, I might have bet more Nuggies than just 40. But Kansas State is playing TCU, who looked like they had a bit of a resurgence last week. They beat up BYU to go against my BYU money line pick, but I'm still not a believer in TCU. For whatever reason, that just has not worked out this year. It has not been a strong connection with the coaching staff and the players or whatever's going on. Just have not been as big a believer what's going on in Fort Worth this year as I was last year. And I still believe in Kansas State despite a couple of setbacks early on this year. So Kansas State back at home. I'm going to take the Wildcats minus 6.5. Rutgers, I'm trusting the formula from last week because I picked Rutgers to cover the spread against Michigan State. They got down a bazillion points before eventually coming back and winning that game. They were a 2-point conversion away from covering for me. Didn't get it. I'm going to trust the process there. Rutgers gets bowl eligible this week by beating Indiana and covering the 5-point spread on the road. In honor of my Texas Rangers, our Texas Rangers, I'm calling this one the Can You Take Me Higher parlay here. 20 to win 52. Give me 2 overs. South Carolina, Missouri over 59.5. Betting the over on Mizzou has been just about as much of a lock as you can get in betting on college football so far this year. And South Carolina doesn't play a lot of defense, so I think there's going to be plenty of points in the Battle of the Columbias. And Texas Tech, BYU. Over-under was 52. And I need somebody to tell me why taking the over here is not a lock of the week type situation, because these two teams are going to score a lot of points. Neither one's probably going to be really interested in stopping the other. I think things could get really weird in Provo, Utah, when Texas Tech and BYU are playing a conference game for the first time. So give me there to be a lot of points, over 52, parlaying those two together, 20 to win 52. And I've been doing very, very well in my pre-Saturday parlays. So there wasn't any opportunity to parlay some Friday nights. All my wins have been on Friday nights, but I've got a little bit of Wednesday and Thursday action here that I'm going to throw out. New Mexico State -3. They are traveling the short trip down I-10 to take on UTEP in the Battle of I-10. They're playing that game for the 100th time Wednesday night. As you guys are listening to this in the past, they played it for the 100th time Wednesday night. I think New Mexico State wins that game -3 sitting here on Tuesday night before they play it. UTEP has just been really bad this year, and New Mexico State has looked competent at times. So that's as simple as that for me. James Madison, -3.5. I went back and forth on this one because I do think Marshall's a really good team, but James Madison has just been really impressive. They have covered the spread with ease in their 2 conference games so far, and they weren't playing chop liver. They were playing South Alabama and Georgia State, I believe. Georgia State was undefeated or only had 1 loss coming into that. And then finally, the Rice Owls, +3. They're traveling up to Tulsa to take on the Golden Hurricane. I just think Rice is a better team. I toyed with taking the money line, toyed with taking them outright, but I'll settle on the +3, giving 3 points. And we'll see. We'll see how that parlays together in the pre-Saturday slate. 10 to win 60 for me. And Garrett, I look forward to furthering my lead from the top of the standings.
Yeah. That's what you think. See, I'm on my get right week. Okay, it's time for me to figure some stuff out, get right, make some safe picks, and let everybody else fall by the wayside, right? It's not about winning. It's about not losing, right? Then there's a couple people who also believe that across the coaching landscape, but we're not going to talk about them right now. What we're going to talk about is my slate of picks here. That Rutgers pick should not be -14. I don't know. It says -14. That should say -5.
I'll give you -14 if you want.
Look, I'm going to need a lot more than the 20 to win 18-18. I'm going to take him with 2 scores, but that should be a Rutgers -5 versus Indiana. Look, Indiana's not a very good football team, and Rutgers is pretty confident they can rush the football really well. They're a pretty physical team. I think they can go and beat Indiana. I'm taking Duke. This is +14. That is the actual line. And I will take Duke +14 against Florida State. Florida State doesn't really put their opponents away. the couple of times they've played teams with pulses and also Boston College. And so, I'm kind of wondering, is this a ruthless Florida State team? Is this a Florida State team that's going to be able to really stomp on your neck? We're going to talk about this in the full breakdown for us on the full pod. So go check that out if you want our full thoughts on this game. But I think that Duke's going to have a pretty good day and keep that game really close. I'm going to go 20 to win 18-18 as well right there. I've also got Clemson and Miami over 49. I actually checked. It moved to 48.5. So I'm taking the plus to the 48.5 there. Look, I think that these are two teams that are pretty solid on offense, and I haven't necessarily been impressed with them recently when it comes to their defensive production. And I know Clemson's been a better defensive team this year, but I still think 49, 48.5, somewhere like that, that seems like a really doable number. So again, 20 to win, 18-18 there. And then a couple of parlays. I've got an SEC two-step right here. We got Ole Miss minus 6.5. They're playing Auburn. Auburn is booty cheeks right now. They're just terrible at football. They can kind of run the ball, and they played well against Georgia, so people think that we should respect them. And I just don't. I don't think they're a very good offense. I don't think they can score points. Ole Miss should run away with that one. And Mizzou minus 70 at South Carolina. You talked about that one just a second ago. Mizzou scores points. They can actually put up a good offensive performance. And I think they're motivated for that big matchup with Georgia as well. So I'm going to take them to beat South Carolina and keep things rolling. And then my little pay attention to the little guys parlay down here at the bottom. James Madison, you talked about him just a second ago. Very dominant so far. I'm taking them minus 3.5. And Miami, that's what they're playing, is Marshall. Miami, Ohio, +2 against Toledo. Look, you can call me a believer, but I think Miami ends up winning this game against Toledo. It's a big-time matchup. This is going to be for the top of the conference, and I'm really excited to see what ends up happening here with this game. I'll be watching Miami, Ohio versus Toledo, and we'll be rooting for the Redhawks in this one. I think they pull it out.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game up in the MAC country. One that we circled in the preseason in our show with the CSC podcast, and definitely one that's going to live up to the hype. So I'm excited about that one as well. Well, guys, that's another week in the books. Happy wagering this week. Please bet responsibly. Enjoy all the games this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Gracious him! How about